So, good evening from Inverness. This is a quick update on me and my adventures with electrification of my vehicles. And what I'm going to do in this little video, three things really. Number one, some response to the comments that I got of the two videos I've done so far where I've said EVs and the promotion of them is a bit of a lie. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Second thing, give you a little bit what I might call a wake-up call reality, especially if you are looking to get into the EV market or change your car. There's been a few things happen the last couple of weeks that have really bring into sharp focus the problems in the UK with EVs and the network. So, quick caveat. If you're getting an EV and you have a home charger and you have no intention of using the public charging network anywhere, go get your EV, you'll have a great time, won't be a problem. If you don't have home charging, listen in. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is I've now changed my car. My i4 has gone back to BMW. I now have the 530e Touring. And I have a long journey tomorrow, hence why I'm posting this tonight, and I will do updates as I'm doing the journey. So let's start off with comments. So thank you to everybody who commented. They fall into, I think, three categories. Category number one, people who think I'm the liar. And they're mainly confined to those in Europe who have a very good network. And the European network has been put together with coordination, government backed, and it shows in the number of people I've had commenting who do long distances in EVs don't have anywhere near the problems that I have experienced. A couple of them reckon that the problem is with me and that I don't plan very well. That could be true. I took exception to people who have never driven in the UK telling me I don't know what I'm doing, and to one who sent me a message saying it takes 10 hours to get from Inverness to Basingstoke. I responded with some very detailed problems along the route and asked for his expertise in how he gets round those to achieve a 10-hour journey. Bear in mind I've not done that on a motorbike in 10 hours. And that turned out then, I'm sorry, I've never driven in the UK, I'm going purely on an app. I'm sorry I don't take you very seriously if you've never driven here and never used the network here. Telling me I don't plan very well and all I need is a new app. Sorry, I'm not going to take that very seriously. So those were the first ones defending the network, but they were all in Europe. Second category are those who have experienced similar problems. Some of those would like to get rid of their car as well. I'd say, let's call them the disappointed. One or two are from people who aren't disappointed, say they don't have problems, fine. But anybody who's doing distance seemed to suffer the same sort of problems. And I think the overall theme would be disappointment in range, certainly of the i4, that it's nowhere near the 300 miles that is claimed. That the reality is for urban driving to around town, the range is between 180 and 200 miles on an 80% charge. On a longer journey, 250-ish on a 100% charge. Now that's all been winter. Maybe that goes up in the summer. We don't know. And then the third category, really commenting on what I should do next. Don't get a car, get a diesel, keep your car and do hire cars. Thank you for all the guidance. I took a lot of it into account before I made my final decision. And you'll hear some of the considerations as we go on to the next bit, which is reality. So reality, a couple of things that have come about. First of all, 28th of December, T-Bay services. So a very busy travelling day because of Christmas and New Year holidays. And well documented now, but I saw it in the Sun newspaper. Well, I didn't see it in the Sun, somebody sent me the link. They have 8 chargers there for Teslas, so all were full, and a further 23 cars were queuing. So this brings into focus, this isn't just a problem for non-Teslas, this is becoming a problem for Teslas as well. That the volume of cars that have been sold is overwhelming the availability on the network. So the few Tesla people have written to me and said, hey, Teslas are fine. I think that has been the case, absolutely. But I think generally Teslas outsell everything else by about 2 to 1. There's more electric Teslas than any other make of car. And it's beginning to overwhelm their network. So all isn't good with Teslas, as you will hear further on. A gentleman called Giles Coren, who is a writer for The Times, has owned a Jaguar I-Pace since 2020. Had nothing but problems. Mr. Coren, I sympathise with you. I had a Jaguar F-Pace, loved the car when it worked. And when it came to technology, it was the worst car I had. And eventually, although I did 40,000 miles in 2 years in that car, it was why I got rid of it and why I won't touch a Jaguar or a Land Rover or anything. I've had 2 or 3. They're all full of problems. But he isn't going to another EV. He's going back to petrol. And the problem for him is the charging network. And so when his car is working, when he only has to go long distances and use the charging network, he has seen a deterioration. So what he has seen is the network has grown, but not grown as fast as the growth of ownership of EVs. So the network is being overwhelmed. And also similar comments around about the fractured nature of the network here. Third thing, values of EVs. So 1 or 2 people wrote to me and said, hey, your car is in demand, put it on the open market, you'll get more than you paid for it. Got to tell you, that is not true. So a couple of things have happened. First of all, we have a cost of living crisis, and as a result of that, interest rates have risen quite considerably, which means the costs of buying any car have gone up. Most people buy cars on PCPs, but interest rates have shot up. I've seen it in my own deals going up, which makes cars less affordable than they were 3 or 4 months ago. So the price of used cars has been very high now for 18 months, 2 years, because of the supply chain issue. And I benefited from that. I've sold 2 cars in the last 6 months and got very, very good trading prices. That's all ended now. So there are now, I see in Inverness, all the big dealers are having Christmas sales or New Year sales, and the value of used cars has dropped in the last 6 weeks quite considerably, as reality has bitten for many people. The other thing is that when it comes to EVs, and I have had 2 experiences to back this up. First of all, my BMW dealer here, told me they will no longer take a used EV as a part exchange. Before Christmas, they would not take a Tesla part exchange. The reason being, they cannot sell them on and make money out of them. They have to sell them at a loss. They also, with the Teslas, had problems selling them back into the Tesla network. This is a very, very big dealer. They do hundreds of thousands of cars a year. I think their volume is too much. Tesla didn't want their own cars. The second thing, and part of that was that the value of used cars has gone down. B, where people want EVs, they tend to want new ones and not used ones. So the value of used EVs has gone through the floor. I had my car valued on the 18th or I think the 19th of December, and that same car being valued on Friday would come in at around about £8,000 to £10,000 less than it was a month ago. These factors all come into play. Also, I think there's a bit more publicity now. People like me who are owners going, this is not the dream we're being sold. And while we still have lots of people who are pushing EVs, there are quite a few people now really beginning to ask some serious questions about the network and the reality, and that in the UK specifically, we are not ready. So there's a couple of things. So reality beginning to bite. What's happening with me? So yes, I have changed my car. I did get a very good deal, mainly because I did the deal before Christmas. Had I done the deal after Christmas, I'm extremely confident I'd have got less. While the delay was happening because of various issues within the dealer network I deal with, I did go to Volkswagen and I did go to Audi. Neither of those dealerships would take my car as a Part X. And they gave me the reason they do not want used EVs as Part X. They only want petrol, diesel, or whatever. So 2 months ago, I sold a diesel BMW into Volkswagen. Not a problem. Electric BMW 2 months later, we don't want it. And didn't really want to talk about why, but two separate did not want my car. Said, take it to BMW, get them to buy it back from you, and then come to us with cash. So I'd also done a valuation on a couple of sites. You get these sites that will buy your car, and both valuations, I did them this week, were about £8,000 to £10,000 below what I was given by BMW. So there was a significant drop in the value of what was being offered, which goes back to why I think had I done the value this month, it would have been a lot lower. So that's the next thing. So I now have the FEV. Tomorrow I have a very long journey. But to start off with, yesterday I did 50 miles. When I started off, I was 100% charged on electric, and I had 20 miles of range displayed. And I had a full tank of unleaded, and I had 320 miles displayed. That gave me a total range of 340 miles as potential from setting off yesterday morning. I drove 50 miles yesterday. I have recharged the car again this afternoon. I haven't put any more petrol in. I've just checked, and it is giving me 325 miles of petrol range and 25 miles of electric range, giving me a total of 340 miles, which has gone up, so that's quite pleasing. My jury is definitely out, but tomorrow I am driving down to Oxford via Edinburgh, which is slightly about 60-70 miles further than I did in my EV the week before Christmas. So I'll be reporting back on the differences there. I have to go to Edinburgh to collect somebody, so it'll be a slightly longer, more difficult journey because of some other complications. We also have to do some stops because I have work calls to do along the way. So we'll be doing some comparisons and letting everyone know the difference between an IV on a journey and a FEV on a journey, those journeys being very similar. Initial impressions of the 520, of my 530e. Well, it's a 5 Series, so it's a fabulous car. Slightly bigger than the i4, hasn't got as much tech. So I don't have memory seats or the voice control or lots of other really nice things I loved in the i4. But it has buttons which I quite like for the heater and the various things, radio, and there's a few sort of more physical things to touch. It feels bigger. Feels more spacious. Cup holders are bigger, door bins are bigger. So initial impressions, it's a 5 Series, it's a lovely car, it's very nice, so no real complaints there. So that's my update. I'm sorry it's a bit quick, and I've got a big microphone because a few people have pointed out my sound isn't great. So this one's a bit rough and ready. I won't be doing any cutting. It's just going to go up the way it is. And tomorrow I'll wick up a few videos on my phone, as I've done before, on the journey and what my progress has been. So just a thank you to everybody who commented, whether I liked your comments or not. Some of you got a sharp response and some of you got an agreeing response, but I still like all the responses. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed. I don't chase subscribers, but it's always nice when people do. I hope you have a great week. Thanks a lot. Bye.